inaugural address.
Thank you. My senior colleague, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, Special Chief Secretary, Government of Telangana, Mr. Ranjit Mehta, Secretary General of PHDCCI, Mr. Ravi Kottarakara, Dr. Ranjit Mehta, Mr. Rajan Sehgal, Madam Shalini Sharma, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. When Ravi spoke, he ended by saying he wants tourism to lend a helping hand to the filmmakers. I want to flip that proposition and say that I want the filmmakers to lend a helping hand to tourism. And the reason why I say is that today we look at film tourism more as a happy coincidence rather than a design-driven policy which yields certain dividends. And why do I say that? If there is a filmmaker who goes to a certain destination, shoots it in a favorable light, and it is well received, and people look at it aspirationally and travel to that place, and it unlocks the potential of tourism, we think that this is something that has happened, this is coincidental, but it is good luck, and then the destination is picked up. And when Mr. Mehta, Dr. Mehta spoke, he spoke about how Ladakh and other destinations have benefited. But I think the challenge and the problem statement for us is that these things should not happen purely as a coincidence, but these things should be happening by design. We must have policies to frame that into perspective. We must have collaboration between the government, the industry bodies, between the center and the state, and we must all work together to deliver optimized outcomes for each of the stakeholders that are there in the tourism industry as well as those who are in the film fraternity. And the reason why I say that this is important is that there is an estimate that there are about 80 million people who make their travel decisions every year which are influenced by the films and the television shows that they do. Now this 80 million is a very large number, and that is a number that India should not lose sight of. The second reason why film tourism is important is because not only is it impactful, but it is also cost efficient. For example, if there is a film which is shot and places a tourism destination in favorable light, it is doing that, lays the level of aspiration through the power of suggestion. And that power of suggestion is invaluable because if I have to match the same impact by doing straight line advertising, it will perhaps be much more expensive for me. Because the point that we need to understand is that when I advertise, I'm doing something in your face. I'm saying Kerala is a beautiful place, come to Kerala and this is what you get. In the film, I'm not doing that. So when I watch a film and I find that this is beautiful, it suggests, it evokes a certain image in me and makes me want to travel. That power of suggestion is free of bias. It is not something that somebody is pushing to me to say that you need to travel. And it is that power of aspiration and it is that power of suggestion that a film can unlock, which is far superior to what advertising can unlock, and it does so at a much cheaper cost. And therefore, I think if we look at it from this perspective, we need to see as to how we can shift India from being a provider of locations to a destination that is a screen-driven destination economy. And I think we need to bring some method to what we do. And there are several examples which are global benchmarks. We all know as to how the Lord of the Rings made New Zealand into something like a cinematic pilgrimage for hordes of people visiting New Zealand. We all know how the Game of Thrones has opened up much lesser known destinations like Northern Ireland and Croatia, and has again sent hordes of people into those countries and pushing their tourism economies up. And I think this is something that we should not lose sight of. And one of the other dynamics that we see in several parts around the world today, they are integrating these film commissions with the tourism boards and with export promotion agencies because they